Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
I'm appalled at what you said on that pod thing. It's disgusting.
This is the After the Show podcast. It's where we get honest and real with yo ass. So sit back, relax, have a blast, because it's time for the After the Show podcast.
Yeah, here we go. Welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast for Monday. Yeah.
Lick it and stick it.
That was Denny's movie today.
Yeah, it was. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. Virginia talking a little bit about her crawfish boil that she had.
Yes.
A little party. I know it was Throwdown Sunday party, huh?
It was so much fun. The weather was ideal. And my husband's boss, his name is Jim. He's from New Orleans too.
Okay.
And so he can't really have he's had crawfish boils at his house, but he can't really have them there right now. So he's like, I'll buy the crawfish if you host. And I'm like, oh, hell yeah, let's do this. So he had them flown in from New Orleans, and he has a seafood connection. And so these were the biggest crawfish. And normally you get like one or two big ones, and you're like, wow, look at those. They were all big.
What does that cost a witch? If you want like a sack of crawfish, when you do your little witchy crustacean parties, how much are you out usually? If you are not only hosting it, you're buying the crustaceans.
Hundreds and hundreds.
500
Dang.
lower.
Probably just under 500.
Wow.
When you add up everything, so the crawfish themselves are usually about $6 a pound. They're more expensive because we have to fly them in, so you got to pay for the shipping. So they usually come to be about $6 or $7 a pound, depending on how much they have. We had 64 pounds yesterday, so 6 times 64. I can't do the math. You do it. But then you got to get the corn, potatoes, sausage, edamame. I threw in shrimps.
Right.
And then I also made a gumbo, and then I also made a jambalaya. And those aren't cheap either. So
Yeah, I mean, it's a very long answer for a very short question.
Yeah.
And then for Mardi Gras, I paid for the damn good beer bus. So on top of the hundreds it costs for crawfish, I picked up the tab for everybody's beer.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you're hosting, I feel like if you invite people over to something, you should be unless you say it's potluck, bitches.
I agree. I always tell people, we're going to have lots of beverages there, but if you want to drink something special, bring that. And people usually do. People walk up with bottles, and somebody walked up with brownies. Somebody else walked up with pot gummies.
As I say, I wouldn't trust if you're not a pot person, going to just like a regular random barbecue, I wouldn't eat somebody's brownies.
I got to tell you a funny story. So a few of the people at the party were going on the golf course and smoking a little doob. And so this one group came back, and they were high as kites. I mean, I could tell everybody in this group was baked. And I had just dumped out all the crawfish on the table. But I also, like I told you, put in other stuff, too. So there was shrimp in there. But they had the shell on them. So you have to peel them and eat the shrimp. This one guy was so high, he ate the whole shrimp. And he's like, why are they crunchy?
Why are they crunchy?
I was like, they're not.
Oh, dang.
Show me what you did. He popped the whole entire thing in his mouth with the tail and the shell and everything.
Have fun with that crustacean crap. You're not gonna.
They're actually, you can eat crawfish, not crawfish shells. You can eat shrimp shells, and they won't mess you up that bad.
Gosh, crawfish might be one of the worst fucking foods for me to eat. I hate it.
Oh, they're so
You bring
good.
crawfish to my party, you're kicked out. Everyone you brought is kicked out. Unless it's your sisters, they can come.
My sisters love crawfish.
Yeah.
What would you do? You get to hook up with one of my sisters, but...
Yeah, bring the crawfish. I'm not a fucking idiot.
Okay.
I'm being dramatic about the crawfish. I don't give a shit what you eat.
Yeah, it's good stuff. So how did you, because I know one of the discussions you had was, okay, how do you do it with Panda and spreading people out? And some people had suggested, maybe you have 10 people show up at this time and another 10 at this time and a staggered party time. Were there any issues with that? Was COVID distancing observed? Were people wearing masks?
Nobody wore a mask. Everybody kind of kept their space from each other. I think the days of big hugs and all that, might be behind us, at least till we get the vaccine.
Really? You should have told that to the people at Irish Fest, because I fucking was hugging everybody. So many hugs.
Jameson instantly makes you huggy.
I mean, I gave out so many hugs on that field trip.
I mean, I did give a few hugs sparingly at the end of the night. I mean, I was shitty at the end of the night, singing, dancing, hugging.
I couldn't deny a hug, especially if it's a KVJ Nationer and they're showing that they like our show. Like, hey, what's going on? They want to give me a hug. I'd feel like such a dick face if I was like, oh, can't hug me.
I know. You feel like a dick, too, because we are huggy people.
Mm-hmm. Very huggy.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, with the vaccine getting out there. And I think a month from now, you're going to be probably in a Florida where anybody who wants the vaccine can get the vaccine. And I went to a birthday party on Saturday, and there wasn't anybody I saw, and it was kind of a communal area. It wasn't just the birthday party. They had it at like their pool, that
the clubhouse.
It was kind of like, it was one of those type situations that was at a condo building that had a pool, and I didn't see one mask at all, and there was a lot of people that were out there, and so it's
they say when you're outside it's safer, unless you hug somebody with COVID, but if you're outside, supposedly it's not as easy to transmit.
Yeah, and I was kind of wondering where we're going to be. Somebody hit me up in the lobby and said, hey, I got my girl and I just came up with the business where we're, making embroidered face masks now. And I was like, oh, cool. But then I started thinking, I'm like, well, is that going to be a business in 2-3 months? I don't know. I did see this where 56% of people think we'll still wear face masks after the pandemic, and 7% say they couldn't really answer because the pandemic will never end. So there probably is. It's going to be really interesting. I wonder how much longer you're going to see. How many people are going to be wearing face masks in Florida in another 2 months?
I hugged a good, 15 people from KVJ Nation, and it felt good. I liked it.
He hugged all the girls. I saw him.
Bullshit.
He's so huggy on the girls.
I was holding all motherfuckers. Keither in the chat room, I think I hugged his ass. I hugged them all. I don't discriminate.
If it's got boobies, he's hugging it.
Well, I'll be more likely to hug. But yeah, I'll hug everybody. I don't care. Dongs and thongs, dog, whatever.
Okay, I got a few emails here. This one from Crystal in Jacksonville said, I got a question for Jaybird. Back when Weird and Whatever first started, you asked Vicky, when she sees you in a relationship, settled down and married, she said that she saw it at the age of 45 for you. Do you still believe that is true?
No, I do not.
How old are you?
43. I'll be 44 in May.
Well, there's still hope.
That means I would have to fall in love real quick. That shit ain't happening.
Yeah,
You're not wearing a watch, by the way. I see you stare at your wrist.
I never wore a watch, and I always do that. I'm like, hey, let's see what time it is. Yeah, watches tickle my bones. It's weird. I digress.
Hopefully your wife will tickle your bone, too.
Right. Sounds like that's what we're talking about here.
I hear about all you married people, and you guys say, oh, me and my husband or me and my wife, we had sex this month. We planned it for 3 weeks. It sounds so fucking fun.
Did you hear your girl Suzanne Summers today?
Yeah, that could be you.
Yeah. She's what? Look, 74?
She's in her 70s, he's in his 80s, and they boned 3 times before lunch.
Wow.
I am no Sith. I don't believe in absolute anything is possible. I'm open to love. I'm open to it.
But you're saying it's not likely. You don't see it
To get
happening.
married by 45? Shit that, man. Fuck that.
Yeah, I don't see you getting married.
I don't think I'm going to get married. I don't think as I've gotten older, I've realized it's something I just don't want.
Well, as I've gotten older, I realize it's stupid. Why would you want to get the courts involved in your relationship? It's so dumb. It's an old, antiquated thing. Unless you're real religious and you believe in the God matrimony union thing. Okay, I get that. But if you're not even like religious, don't get married.
Well, I do find I see the romance in that. You find someone you love, that's your partner, your ride or die. You do everything together. I think that's an awesome thing if you can find that and both people are on the same page and you really love each other. I think that's such a cool concept. I just just don't think it's for everybody. It's got to be the right combination. And I just see so many people that get married. Yeah, they like their person or they love their person, but they really don't like that person. They don't even like them that much.
I feel like Panda's like my favorite person to hang out with.
That's weird because you're not his. No,
You're probably his.
just kidding.
Okay, well, do you think that if you had a redo, would you marry Panda again? Because you'd be like, I'd marry you all over again. Would you be like, nah, let's not get married?
Knowing everything you know now.
I think I would still get married, but I wouldn't put so much like weight on it. Like it's like so important to get married and you spend all that money. I mean, my wedding cost $11,000 and I did it on the budget. But it was still $11,000 for a thrown together outdoor bullshit wedding.
I just know I'm a weird person, and the person that's gonna be with me, they're gonna have to understand my weird, and I'm gonna have to understand theirs. And we're going to have to jive on that. And I don't know. People always want to change people, and they get mad at...
Girls a lot of times want to change a dude.
Well, they think it's so cool. Oh, it's so fun on the radio. And then like 2 months in, why are you saying that? Why do you have to... You don't have to do that to be so funny.
You don't have to let Virginia shoot you in the balls to be funny.
I'm like, guys, what the fuck? You're getting in my head. We're breaking up.
Sean said, would you, Kevin? Yeah, I don't know. I definitely have a different view on relationships and everything. And, you know, I had been engaged before I got married, and just, I was like, I don't know. I don't know if this is the right move.
You made the right call. She was a lovely, lovely girl.
Yeah.
In fact, too lovely for you.
I agree, yeah.
She was very sweet, very innocent, very...
She wasn't the right fit.
She wasn't crass enough for us.
Yes.
For us. I love it. It's like a mafia thing.
Yeah, it's a mafia. You marry Kevin, you marry me.
Yeah.
That
was it.
And you wonder why I'm single?
Yeah. Yeah, so would I do it all over again? I think the answer would be yes, but I have a different view of, you know, how things are done. And, you know, I feel like I got married late 20s, and to me, that was probably a good time to do it. I would strongly urge people in their young 20s. I mean, everybody's going to be different, but, I mean...
I think young people are getting it, though. I hear more and more young people talking about how, no, we're not going to get married.
Well, listen to this comment. This tells you everything you need to know about marriage. Everybody should get married once just to feel the pain. I mean, what the fuck? That's something that sounds awesome.
No.
That sounds like someone who's been fucked over through marriage.
Divorce is horrible, especially if it's not amicable like mine. Like, it's terrible. And just involving the courts in your love life, say it out loud. It makes no sense. Why should I let some judge decide how much of my money I get to keep?
To me,
what?
You just gotta find someone who is your friend and ride or die. Even if you guys have issues, it's you and that person. You're not going out talking about shit. You settle everything with it. You have their back no matter what. Even if you fucking hate each other in the minute, you know you love that person. You're not going to fuck them over no matter what.
It has to be ride or die.
It has to be ride or die.
And if it's not, and you don't look at that person and go, I love spending time with them. I love spending every minute with them. Like, you better really think twice.
A ride or die hippie is what I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Where the fuck are they at?
She's going to be cute. She's going to be petite.
Go on.
She's got dirty blonde hair. It's sandy blonde. It's not blonde. It's not brown. It's kind of in the middle. She loves to wear long, flowy dresses. She's adorable. She drinks beer. She doesn't drink hard liquor. She drinks beer. She loves to smoke pot. And she's super mellow. She's super chill. She does have a cat, but we forgive it because, you know, you can't be perfect.
All right, that's what she's got.
Okay.
All right. Can you see me with a woman like that?
There are parts that would work. There are parts. There are some like, huh?
The weed smoking was pretty cool.
There are parts. There are parts.
She used to grow her own weed. She doesn't anymore.
All right, now you went too far. It's too fucking fake now. It's too big.
I would say if there's anything that is, and the thing that I do like about marriage, because we've pinned it as a negative, is relationships are going to be tough. Long-term relationships are going to be really tough. And the one thing that a marriage does do, and it being something where it's not easy to get out of,
Yeah, that's
you
true.
do really commit to it. And I think that even the best relationships, you're going to have 1, 2, or 3 points where you're probably going to hate each other. And if it were easy to get out, you would get out. But in the long term, you're like, you know what? I'm glad we made it through that bumpy area. And because it was tough to get a divorce, we didn't get one. And now I'm glad we didn't. And we stuck with it and we committed to it. And so that's the one thing that I think is, it's usually pegged marriage as the negative about how tough it is to get divorced. But it could also be a positive as well. So I know, hey, in my marriage, man, we've had some spots where we're like, this thing is in trouble.
Did you ever think you and the Queen would get a divorce at some point?
I mean, there were times where it's like, okay, I don't know, maybe we're heading in that direction.
I wouldn't say recently. What has it been recently? Was it olden times?
We have times where it goes up and down, but you know what? I think through the thing that's good about every rough patch that we have, and we've had many. I mean, I could probably earmark 2 or 3. That's why I probably throw that number out there in our marriage, where it was like it's a thought. Be like, I don't know, maybe we're heading there. But you know what? I adapted myself, and she did too, and we both learned a little bit from that and said, okay, if we're going to make this thing work, because that rough patch was tough emotionally to go through, and it's exhausting. And once you get through it and you start to say, hey, look, you know what? I gotta be a little bit nicer on this. And dude, you know what? You need to clean up a little bit more here and there. That's a big deal for her. And so marriage does get better to me through time because of those reasons, because I respect her more. I realize, I was kind of a jackass in some of the things that I used to do. I wasn't as kind as I should have been on some things. Wasn't as conscious about things. And I think she's a better communicator on things. And so we've both adapted and we've changed. We're better at marriage today than when we first started because of all those brutal times where we'd have massive fights and things were not going well. That made it good. And honestly, if it were easy and I could have just walked out and left, we probably wouldn't be together right now.
Interesting.
We probably would be gone. It would be over. But, ultimately, we have a great family.
And you have fun together.
And as a unit, we have a lot of fun together. And there's nothing better when the family unit's together and we're all doing something together. And if it weren't a tough thing that kept me committed, and I didn't see the bill of how much it was going to cost me to get divorced to this woman, I would have missed out on all those
She would take you for everything.
Yeah, I think it would be tough. It would not be easy, and that's been part of it too.
She would play no games.
You got a place to stay though.
I
Always.
know.
You do.
You're my fallback. You know that. I've been on Jaybird's couch. I've been there on one of those nights.
But you guys really do enjoy and you laugh together. Yeah. And I think that is so crucial that you have that connection of funny and humor and enjoying each other's company, and you love to go out and do the same things. That's so, so, so important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If only she would S that D.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Maybe after one of these big fights, we'll finally get to that point, Virginia, where my wife's like, you know what?
Let me ask that D real quick. Why don't you take that thing out?
I don't do that enough.
I don't know, dog. Blowjobs usually decrease as marriage goes on.
Yeah. Victor said, can you give an example, Kev? Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things that I think every relationship has sensitive parts where you're like, okay, I know that is something like if I go down that path, we're going to get in trouble, and you fear that area. And probably the one, I'll just tell you, the last time I wound up on Jaybird's couch, I had gone out with a buddy of mine, and we drank throughout the day, and we got crazy. I've always been a party kind of guy. That's just what I do. I just love to tear loose.
Day drinking on a binge situation is fun.
I had to pick up Kevin on the side of the road in the fucking rain. It was real depressing.
Yeah, it was tough because we had gone home, and I was, and I'm like, what's the big deal? Yeah, okay, I'm hammered, whatever. And she wasn't having it. She wasn't playing it. She's like, look, here you are, you're hammered. She's like, you got your kids in the house. She's like, you need to be better than this. And it's not a time to fight when you're like, I mean, come on, I'm not the only one that does this. But, through that, I had to kind of learn. I was like, that was probably a blind spot for me where I had moments where I wasn't setting a good example and I would go out and get too hammered. So I've really, over the last year, I don't drink any less, but I space it out. I try
Gotcha.
not to be a drunken, slobbery mess and do things that are embarrassing or things where my kids are going to look at me and be like, "Yep, Dad's drunk." I'm like, I'm trying not to be that dad anymore. And I mean, I probably didn't get there until I was 45. So, I was party dog for a long time, and I'm still not flawless. There will be, 1 or 2 nights out of the year where probably down to that, where okay, Dad went at it a little bit too hard.
I mean, it's hard to deny your roots.
It is. I grew up in an area where they would binge drink like crazy. That's what we would do. We drink all day and all night. And that was a badge of courage, is to learn how to drink so that you could hold your own. And you would be like, I've been drinking for 14 hours straight and I'm still good and still functioning. That was how we grew up and lived. And I went to the top party university in America at the time. And so, that was it. So it took years to shake that off.
Well, just looking back at it with all my friends or family that have been married when there's been issues, it's usually not the drinking that causes some issues. It's the over drinking. Over drinking,
right.
especially if one in the couple isn't over drinking and the other one is, and the other one's acting a fool and the other one's getting all embarrassed.
Yeah.
If that keeps happening.
And my wife had pulled back. And this is where it's tough in marriages. My wife had really pulled back on being that person. Because when we got together, we were both that person.
Well, that's what when you both have
partiers.
When you got both partiers too, that's even dangerous too.
And she takes it a lot harder when the kids would point out times where she was hammered. And so she really hit the brakes and pretty much hasn't had any kind of alcohol at all forever. And I respect her for that. But she was like, I'm doing it. I think you need to do it too. And so that's where we went for a couple years there, kind of clashing on that, because I was still riding on the wild side. And it would cause a fight. It would get worse and worse every time I would do that. And so now I'm just like, and she's like, all right, we're going to go out. She's like, you're not going to get completely shit-faced, are you?
You're not going to drink 87 White Claws.
Yeah, right. And that was one of those days, that was one of those fights that we'd had, because I was knocking out. I'd go get another
These are
one
delicious.
when I was
that
done.
was when White Claw was brand new. You drank it before any of us even knew what White Claw was.
Right. Well, thanks to my 23-year-old daughter now for that. And so, so now I just know, okay, I'll have a drink, but then throw in a couple other non-alcoholic beverages and space it out and keep your cool, man. And
It's so adult.
I know, but you know what? I had to, because I am married to a woman that didn't want to tolerate that anymore. And if divorces were easy and I didn't have to stick around, I'd probably be about sleeping under a bridge right now, hammered. So
You'd probably be living with Jay Bird, actually.
I probably would be, yeah.
And I would take good care of you.
It'd have been fun.
I would make sure that all of your favorite snacks, like your ice chips, are there.
Lettuce for days.
Oh, raisins galore without the sugar.
Yeah.
How you take a sugar out of raisin?
Nah, I was making a joke. Didn't make any sense. Thanks for overanalyzing it.
So anyway, that's the one thing I will say, that marriage is being tough to get out of. Ultimately, you may say, you know what? It was probably a blessing that I didn't recognize.
Interesting perspective, Ralston.
I got it. Once again, marriage sounds like not that much fun.
Well, it makes you a better person.
Stay single. Do you want to get that DS?
Yeah.
Then stay single.
Well, Panda gets his DS.
He does.
Yeah, and look at Suzanne Summers. She's sucking.
Oh,
Poor woman.
Yeah.
she's taking it everywhere.
Does anybody really want to suck on 83-year-old balls? I don't know.
I mean, I think when you're in your 70s, you don't care.
But if it's your soulmate, I don't think you care that
They've
your
been
guys
together
got...
since 1977. They've got it figured out.
So old balls don't even bother you at that point.
No.
You love your man's old balls.
You're like, bring me that wrinkled dick. Bring it right here.
I think I do love that. That's nice. I like that.
You're wrinkled together. I mean, I'm sure her vagina is no treat.
I don't know. Something tells me Suzanne Summers has a pristine vagina.
Maybe she had it rejuvenated.
Yeah.
It's been jazzercised, rejuvenated. It's been, what do they call that?
Sweating
thing?
to the oldies.
No, what was that thing she used to have you put between your thighs?
Thigh master.
Yeah, that thing is it's strong.
The thigh master don't work your pussy. It works your thighs.
You mean to tell me there's
That
no...
whole area, Virginia, I'm just saying.
All right,
She's
all
put a
right.
lot of focus for decades
She
into that.
does. You're right.
If you're doing this with your crotch, you mean to tell me you're not getting a little bit of
Pussy workout?
pussy strength? None?
I don't know. I haven't thought about it.
Those are not some, like, I don't know, subconscious Kegels?
She could probably shoot a ping pong ball half mile out of her vagina.
I don't know.
I mean, honestly, she could probably kill a man with a ping pong ball shot out of her vagina.
We could probably interview her.
But that's my question. Is it considered, oh, you guys, you can't ask people those kind of questions anymore? I would love to know, does the thigh master actually help your vagina? And I don't think that's...
I think she would totally be down with you
Yeah.
asking her that because she's very open about everything, her sex life, her man. I think you could ask her about the ping pong coming out of the vagina.
I don't think you should be putting ping pongs in your vagina, though.
It's definitely not hygienic.
Well, couldn't you get a yeasty?
Absolutely. You could get a yeasty, you can get a bacterial infection.
You could get a great tip at a strip club.
I've seen it.
Yeah, but now you got the yeasty boys playing in there. You don't want that, right? Yeasties are terrible, no?
I think you would go and douche after. If you put ping pong balls in your hoo-ha, you would have to go and douche it out.
But I've learned from you, douching is not a good thing.
No, if you create a healthy area down there by watching what you eat, not a lot of sugar, you can keep it from getting bacteria.
Can I ask a question with consent?
Yes. Yeah.
Over or under yeasties in your life? Over or under 10?
Gosh. See, I have an imbalance.
Oh, boy. Why did I ask?
I have to really be careful with sugar, and I have to eat yogurt and acidophilus or whatever that thing is that's in yogurt. Acidophilus.
That gives you a little bit of the...
That keeps it from happening. Acidophilus is a good thing for your pussy.
So it's just body chemistry. So it's just really body so it's like being born with a smaller dong. You're born just with, I don't know.
A propensity to have a yeast or bacterial issue if I don't keep my sugars intact.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't. Do people want to know that? I kind of thought that was interesting.
Half the stuff that I say, I don't think people want to know, but they just kind of have to take the good with the bad.
Yeah, we really don't know. We're just saying shit.
You want to get to anything good, you got to sit through some of the shit.
That's anything in life, though.
Yeah, it is. Now, I saw this today. Kevin Hart, he got his daughter a Mercedes for her 16th birthday. Virginia talked about how her daughter, Magnolia, is hinting around to getting a nice car for her 16th because she got a friend that's getting an Audi.
But her friend has the Audi, and so Magnolia, this bitch sends me pictures of Audis all day.
If I was you, and I don't know if you want my advice.
Why don't you send her pictures of bills?
Right?
I would not get her an Audi.
I don't think I'm going to get her an Audi. I think that's too much money. I think she thinks that it's going to be like some fancy car, but I'm against giving a kid a fancy car for their first vehicle.
I am too.
I just, the chances of her getting into an accident are probably pretty high. Let's think about that. Young people learning to drive. Accidents are going to happen.
Reliable, safe, humbling. That's what your first car should be. You shouldn't have. I'm very against having a big ass fancy car. I think you're too young to even understand what the fuck that means. I really do. It's too much.
I agree.
You don't need a fancy car as a 16-year-old.
And it's going to be more to insure.
How many more reasons do you? Yeah, she's not getting one.
She's not getting an Audi.
Okay, that's a definite. We're saying that. We're stamping that.
So what do you think? October, November, Audi.
Her birthday's in May.
I think you'll stay strong for a few months, and then you cave.
Well, then what's acceptable? What is the range and where she gets that car?
See, I want to spend like around what Jay Bird spent on his Jeep. Right around 10 grand. I think we can get a decent car for that.
Okay.
Mine was 13 after everything.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, yeah, that's
I think fair. Everything she's looking at is in the low 20s, and I just think that's too much money.
Okay.
the chat room does not. They think she's getting
An Audi?
Yeah, they do. Prove them wrong, dog.
I want to.
Buy her a horse.
I gotta tell you, I mean, it to us. We just got to a point. You're talking about my daughter Caitlin. She had gotten a car, and I'm not even sure what she got. She just got it.
She got a Maserati.
A Maserati.
That's what somebody told me.
Oh, I don't know about that.
It's on like TikTok or something.
I'm dumb.
I don't even know.
Maserati, I guess, is considered a
Very fancy.
Type in Maserati,
Yeah.
first thing that comes up is mozzarella sticks.
I think Magnolia is the one that told me because she's like, well, Caitlin got a Maserati.
Yeah. Well, what she had done was a couple things. One, she saved up $5,000, I know.
That's awesome.
And then grandma matched the $5,000. And so
Okay.
that's what she had for the down payment. And then she now has to pay her own insurance. So we got her off the insurance, which that has been terrible having both those kids. You know, we had
That's
two
a
kids that were
lot.
twins. That really has been a crusher for a long time to pay for that insurance. So that was what it was. So I don't know what she got, whatever she got. I mean, she got a Maserati for that amount. Good for her.
That's what Mags was telling me. But
Yeah.
Mags could be lying, too.
People are saying-
to promote her Audi agenda.
They're saying, too, those luxury vehicles are expensive to fix if they get...
That's what it is. I mean,
Yeah.
I saw the Maseratis at Off Lease Only, too. They've got Maseratis. But I was talking to the sales guy, and he's like, look, you need to know how much this car is going to cost you. Just to get an oil change,
Yeah.
it's like $500 and something, and you have to go to the Maserati dealership. You can't go to fucking Jiffy Lube.
Yeah.
Mags better get back to working at Publix. And maybe become a manager.
Mags wants to get a job, but I won't let her get a job until we get the COVID behind us. I don't think it's worth the risk of her bringing home COVID to her stepdad because she's a cashier.
I love drinking red, orangey drinks. To have that
That's random.
Well, I'm gonna. There's a reason. Having that kind of drink in a fancy luxury car. Oh, it gives me anxiety. There's no way my fucking Tang wouldn't be all over the front.
They make a car now that I saw the other day, and you know the center console when you're in the driver's seat, that thing that you rest your arm on? Mm-hmm. They make them now where they're refrigerated, and it can be
Yeah.
like a cooler. That is awesome.
Yeah, I mean they're badass. Yeah, there's some really cool ass cars. That
You
are
don't
out
need
there.
that shit when you're 16.
Yeah.
No, you don't need that when you're 16, but I would like it now that I'm 47.
Well, you're old. You earned it. You deserve coolness.
It's tough. Some people are car people and they get into it. My wife grew up. Her dad loved cars, loved luxury cars. Always had, always driven them. My wife got in that grain, and so that's their thing. They enjoy those, and so they will go all out. To me, I'm a Honda dude or whatever, just give me basic and simple.
I like a car where I feel good if there's a scratch on it. I'm like, all right, I can just fuck around with this thing. I don't like a car where I'm afraid there's going to be scratches
The
on it.
best that I had where I really felt the most powerful in a car is when I had that Honda, whatever the hell that piece of shit was. Remember that? I was 12 years
You had
old.
a
and I was driving
Ridgeline.
it.
Oh, the
one
Element.
The Element. Honda Element.
They don't make them anymore.
No, they don't make them. It was so terrible. They discontinued the car. It's an atrocious looking vehicle.
It was so ugly.
It was 12 years old. It was so ugly. The thing just was ridiculous. And I remember I was in Miami and I was trying to get through traffic and some guy, probably in a Maserati, was like trying to come at me. And he's like, dude, you're not getting, and he would not let me in. He's just being an asshole. Go figure, guy in a Maserati in Miami. And I'm like, dude, you have a lot more to lose than me. I said, I am coming through here. And I said, your car or mine is going to be missing paint. And I don't give a shit about mine. And guess who let me through? And
Maserati.
I never felt so powerful than I had. And so I love driving that car because that, to me, that's more power than having a cooler under your arm.
If you have a car that's got some dents in it, your windows are rolled down, clearly the air conditioning isn't working,
Yeah.
you maybe haven't shaved in about 5 days.
Yeah.
People don't want to fuck with you because you look like you're a man on the verge of
That's
just...
real power.
Yeah.
That's really what real power
one
is on
wants
the
to,
road.
No one wants to mess with that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So who knows? There you go.
I'll keep you posted.
Okay.
I cannot wait to see the color of Audi she gets.
All right. Well, we got more emails that we will get to tomorrow. Thank you guys very much for sending them in. Mail at kvjshow.com, mail at kvjshow.com. You guys enjoy your Monday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.